Hi everybody, I'm Philip Van Dusen, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about interviewing skills for designers. I've worked as a creative executive for over 20 years for both global corporations and also global branding agencies. I've interviewed thousands and probably hired more than 400 designers in my career. So I wanted to share with you a little bit today about interviewing skills for designers. Things that work for you, things that work against you, things that you should do, things that you shouldn't do when you're interviewing for a design job. The first thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you've spent a little time researching the company or the agency that you're interviewing with. I can't tell you how many designers I've interviewed who knew nothing about the company that I was working for. You have to know just a little bit about their business, their revenue, who their customers are, what do they make, what do they do, what are their specialties in the marketplace. To do this, look them up on Wikipedia, learn a little bit about the company history. Also read the industry news that's come out about the company recently. So when you're in the interview, start off with a little story or something that you've read. It will show the interviewer that you're engaged and that you've really spent some time learning about the company. Now, what kind of clothes should we wear? What kind of attire? Trying to find out what the dress style is for that company. Are they a coat and tie company? Are they a t-shirt and jeans company? You want to kind of gear what you're wearing to the type of company that they are. If you're going in to interview for a skateboarding surfwear company, you're not going to go in wearing a three-piece suit. Or vice versa, if you go to an interview with IBM, you're not going to go in with skate shoes and ripped jeans and a t-shirt on. So think about what you're wearing and try to align it so the interviewer is going to see you as someone who would fit into their organization perfectly. And also, never forget to bring a printed out version of your resume with you so you can hand it to the interviewer. A lot of times I've forgotten someone's resume in my office or I can't place it and I've got to go in and talk with this person. So if them having a copy of the resume to give me so I can follow along with it and ask them smart questions about the career they've had to date is really helpful. So bring a copy of your resume. Now a little bit about presenting your portfolio. So the interviewer might have seen your portfolio online, but they might not remember it. They might be seeing a lot of people that day. So bring a copy of your portfolio on a laptop or an iPad. And before you show the person who's interviewing you, ask them how they'd like to go through it. Do they just want you to hand them the iPad and let them flip through it as they want? Do they want you to actually present it to them and talk about the individual pieces? Having an idea of what the interviewer wants in terms of pace is really helpful. Now, don't feel bad if when you give them your iPad and they go scrolling through it very quickly that they don't care. People who are interviewing, chances are, have a whole lot of experience doing what they're doing, and they can tell what your portfolio is, the quality of it, what you've worked on very quickly. So don't feel bad if they speed through it. Also make sure to know just a little bit about every project that you're showing in your portfolio, even if it was a spec project that you did on your own. Know about what the creative brief was, what the design project was for, and then also have a real clear understanding of what you did for it and what you didn't do for it. If you did the copywriting and the design, say that. If you only did the design, say that. So they aren't assuming that you've done more than you're actually showing. So when you're presenting your portfolio, when you go into an interview, likely you're going to be nervous. And some people, when they're nervous, they talk a whole lot and they don't listen. Other people clam up and they don't talk very much. So if you're nervous, just be cognizant of the type of person you are and how you usually react to being nervous, and pay attention to that and be aware of that in the interview. Make sure that when you're presenting your portfolio, you pause periodically for questions so the interviewer can get a word in edgewise. And when you're showing your book, make sure the work that you're showing is the type of work that you want to do, or in best case scenario, exactly the type of work that this company does. So again, the interviewer is going to be able to envision you as the perfect person for this role. Now, some overall thoughts. Number one, act interested. It's amazing how many people kind of go in, lay back, and try to act all cool. Act interested and energized. Bring some energy to the conversation. Sit up straight, lean in, pump up the energy. Don't be a dud. And the interviewer is going to notice that, and they're going to see the spark in you. They don't want to see someone who is totally laid back and very laissez-faire. They want someone who's going to come in and do the work and bring energy to the studio. And remember also, They're not just interviewing you, you are also interviewing them. You want to ask questions about the company, and I'll go into some questions that you can ask a little later. You want to be interviewing them and make sure that you are engaged and curious about the company and the role. Be really present and aware of the pace of the interview. So the interviewer might be short on time and they might need to speed things along. They might have a lot of time and really want to engage in the conversation. Try to be really cognizant of the pace that they're trying to put on the interview and try to match that pace. It's always good when you go into the interview to kind of ask directly how they'd like to conduct the interview. Would they like to see your book first? Would they like to look at your resume first? Would they like to just start off with a conversation about the history of your employment to date? Ask how they'd like to proceed. And like I said, dress nicely, not too formal, not too casual. The great thing about being a designer is that you're given the freedom to be a little more unique in how you present yourself. So you want to be creative, but you also don't want to be nutty. Most interviewers are going to want to find a designer who's also interested in the business and not just the pure aesthetics of the design work. Because finding someone who has a balance of those skills is exceedingly rare, and I tell you, they're unicorns, and designers and creative directors who are interviewing people are looking for people who understand the business as well as being great designers. Now, here are some of the questions that you can ask your interviewer. You can ask about what's the title of the role? Who's the manager? Who will you be reporting to? What does a day-to-day look like for this role? What would they be doing hour to hour in general in this job? See if they can name the top 3 priorities of the role. So is it great design? Is it interfacing with clients well? Is it supporting more senior creative directors? What are the 3 priorities of the role? Ask also, who are the key business partners? So who are you going to be interacting with a lot? Junior designers, creative directors, strategy people, account people? Who is it that you're going to be interacting with the most? Also ask them, from their perspective, what are the priorities for the business? So what are the key things that they're really looking to improve in the studio or improve for the business that you're going to have an impact on? Another question you can ask is, who is the biggest competition? Again, it shows engagement in the process that you're interested in their business, but it also can open up a larger conversation. You could say, from my research, I would think that your competition are these folks. Is that actually true? And that opens up a larger conversation about competition. And you can also ask on the tail end of that, how are they dealing with that competition? How are they addressing the competition? Because that'll give you a hint of what you should be bringing to the table in this design job. A great question to ask is, how long has the interviewer been at the company? Has he or she been there 10 years? Have they been there 3 months? It really indicates how well they know the company. And the last question to ask, which shows foresight and ambition, is what is the growth path for this role? So if I succeed, come in and do a great job in this role, what is the next step up? Where do I go from here? Is there room to move within your company? It shows future thinking and ambition. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video on interviewing skills for designers. And if you did, please hit subscribe below so you can see my videos when they come out. And visit me at philipvandusen.com/muse and subscribe to my newsletter. It comes out every 2 weeks and I share an insight and resources and trend on graphic design and entrepreneurship. And with that, thanks again for watching and bye for now.